Hi, this is James Jokum, host of Webcomics Reviews and Interviews. This is WCRI Mini Podcast, and right now we're talking good old-fashioned inspiration. So sit back, relax, and let the Geek Fest begin. So, here's the deal. I can take one of two routes on this. I can either tell you basically what all inspires me, which I'll probably end up getting to here momentarily, or I can list you a lot of inspirational sources. Well, I can tell you what inspires me, but I can't tell you what's going to inspire you. Every writer's sort of different here because everybody has their own different perspective and point of view on things. Because that the stuff that you find really cool and that tends to get you going isn't going to be the same thing everybody else is. This is one of those big points a lot of writers try to make to the rookies, is that just because this is what inspires me doesn't mean it's going to inspire you, and in fact, what inspires me could actually be detrimental to you. So, the unfortunate reality here is, all I can tell you is if you get stuck and you need a little bit of inspiration, have a conversation with someone or go read a book. I mean, both of those are something you should be doing a lot of anyway because, well, as a writer, the best way to learn dialogue is to, well, listen to what other people are saying. And you also need to be reading books in the first place. Not just for your own personal enlightenment and education, but just because it's sort of nice to see what everybody else is doing, seeing how they dealt with whatever problems you might have to deal with later on. So, I mean, if you can't learn from the classics, what can you learn from, right? So, that said, some of the stuff that's inspired me is occasionally seeing something in a movie and realizing, hey, this would be sort of cool if I could figure out a way to make it happen a little bit further. I'm a child of the 80s. One of the big things you saw in a lot of movies was the dreaded strip poker scene. You know, you get a couple of boys and girls, get a deck of cards, and off come the close. The only problem is that you saw the beginning of a strip poker, you saw the ending of the game, and you saw a little bit of the middle, but you never actually saw a sit-down strip poker game. Well, that's what inspired me to do a strip poker script, where you actually follow it all the way through the entire game. At one point, somebody put a really obnoxious title for something. They were just trying to mess around and came up with the name Sex Percussions. I decided, hey, this would be a really cool name for a band. However, as things happened, this cute little name for a band became a webcomic involving 3 elemental mages, each of who had power over a different element, a local shaman, and a hedge mage. So, weirdness. I'm a big Love and Rockets fan. Love and Rockets is arguably one of the best independent comics there will ever be. I sincerely looking up anything by Los Bros Hernandez, and Love and Rockets is definitely something you should try at some point. However, what's the important part here is that it's got a heavy Mexican base. Not a big surprise considering, Los Bros Hernandez. At the same time, there's a lot of really cool movies and shows I got that are all about bands. So at some point or another, it sort of clicked that, hey, I could do this really cool script about this rock and roll band that's just beginning to get their stuff off, and it'd be sort of cool to throw in a lot of really cool movie scenes that have happened but geared towards that particular band, or stuff that's also happened in terms of music. And hey, why don't we give it a Mexican twist? In essence, I was really inspired by not only Love and Rockets, but also because I was also watching, a lot of shows about bands. Go figure. So the two naturally clicked. I've also got a script it's a Western that essentially was basically trying to figure out how to work out the Sundance and how to work that out as far as dramatics and all that. So once that was worked out, made that into a script. it's just the little things that tend to inspire you. Sometimes it'll be a walk on the beach, sometimes it'll be a newspaper article. But if something has to hit you, you can actually be looking for it. So keep that in mind next time you get lost. So anyway, good luck, find your inspiration, and I'll talk to you later. Webcomics Reviews and Interviews is on k4hd.com, Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sit back and come and join us.